Welcome back to Levelheaded Gamer. My name is Joseph. I got a chance to play the RE-Verse beta, the multiplayer component that's going to be part of Resident Evil 8 Village. For those that don't really care about impressions or my general thoughts about the game, just want to see some gameplay, I'm going to leave a timestamp for you down below so you can just skip to it and get to the gameplay right away. If you're interested to see what I thought about it as a huge Resident Evil fan, then just stay tuned to see what I got to say for you. I'm not going to waste any of your time. I'm going to jump right into the information. I want to tell you, first of all, for those that are not really familiar, what is this? Well, RE-Verse is basically a 4-6 multiplayer mode that's going to be part of Resident Evil 8 Village. It's going to come as a free kind of thing as with the package. It's sort of like Resistance came with RE3. As well as you get to choose from a variety of different heroes from all the Resident Evil games, and you fight against each other in what, at least in the beta, in a deathmatch style mode. And when you die, you actually become a creature, one of the creatures from the Resident Evil lore, and just kind of fight each other until the match is over. It really just kind of celebrates the whole Resident Evil history and what Resident Evil is all about. And I want to start with the good things about it. There were surprisingly some good things that I did like about it. And it controls well. It actually controls about as good as Resident Evil 2 or 3. Maybe a little bit more responsive because it is a multiplayer game. It still had like a heavier, clunkier feel to the game, but it was a lot more, I would say it's a little bit more responsive than Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3. There was actually a lot of characters to choose from Leon and Claire and Ada Wong. They had a bunch of different characters, and I'm sure in the game at the final game there's gonna be even more. And every one of them has their own gun, has unique abilities to that character, with some more effective than others. Like I think Ada Wong's ability is pretty good, but her gun sucks. And then you'll use Claire Redfield, and she's just a beast. Then you'll use Leon Kennedy, and his shotgun is borderline useless. So it's kind of all over the place, but it was interesting to have all these abilities and all these characters. You also get to play, the fun part is with various creatures. You get to play with the Tyrant and the ultimate version of the Tyrant, play with the father from the Baker family, and other creatures from the Resident Evil past in general. Not to mention the map you get to play in is the Resident Evil 2 Police Precinct map, which has been kind of recreated to a T from what it is from the Resident Evil 2 remake. And I think that's going to be the biggest draw of the game. It's the celebration of Resident Evil and recreating maps that you're familiar with, playing with characters that you liked or creatures that you liked, and getting to just play around with them and mess around in this add-on of a mode, right? So there's not really nothing to lose with this mode, honestly speaking, because it's a free package, part of Resident Evil 8. You're buying it, you're gonna get to try it out. It's the same thing with Resistance. I tried Resistance out. I did have some fun with it, but ultimately it was, it was kind of forgettable, which makes me move on to the bad parts of the beta so far that I've gotten from it. And it's that you only get to play deathmatch. And honestly, I don't think deathmatch works very well with this game, just because the whole idea of Resident Evil is that there's humans fighting zombies or bad guys fighting the good guys, and there's some kind of dynamic going on here. And here it's just all mashed in together, and for some reason you turn into a monster and just kind of charge at each other. It just feels very chaotic and all over the place. It's about as good if any of you guys have ever played Lost Planet multiplayer. It feels like that. It's just kind of all over the place, and it's there. And sometimes it feels like the mechanics don't really jive well with the multiplayer. And it doesn't, and not to mention, it doesn't feel very balanced. Like Claire Redfield is a clear winner in there, and she's so easy to play with because she has this grenade where you throw it at anybody, they freeze. Like when in human form, they freeze, and then easily you could just pick them off with her submachine gun, with her, I think she had a Uzi, with her Uzi. It's just kind of, it's not very balanced, but that's something that can change, of course. But I don't know how much better it's going to make it feel. The graphics themselves too is, I really like that gritty feel of RE2 and RE3 remake. You're not going to get that here. I can't tell if it's cel shaded or it's just something to do with the graphics, but it just feels a little bit off. I understand they did it for performance sake, but it just, I don't know, it doesn't feel good, especially that we know this game is going to be releasing on the next gen system. So I don't know. As well as when you pick up special weapons, the collision detection is kind of off. Sometimes I would shoot a rocket and you see it come out a little bit later and it always missed the target. But again, it is a beta. That something can be changed. But as of now, like basically what I played now, those were my issues. The time to kill as well feels a little off because as a human, sometimes it takes really long to kill somebody with a weapon, but at the same time, when you're playing as a creature, it's really easy to kill somebody. And at the same time, when you're a creature, you're supposed to be this big tyrant and the big massive guy. You die so quickly because your health keeps draining, and then when you get hit, it drains. You don't get to play very long for any one of those characters. But of course, it makes sense why. I would have treated it more like a kill streak versus that everybody gets to be one of the creatures. But we'll see how they play around with it for the final game. Maybe they'll switch it up. And once you get hit, this is my biggest problem with this game in general. Whether you get stuck with a grenade and you can't move, or you start getting just whacked left or right by one of the creatures, you're basically stuck in a corner. You're getting like corner raped basically the whole time, and you can't do anything about it. Sometimes you can jump out of the way for a second, and then they just pounce on you, take care of you. It's like it doesn't feel very fun. Like, I usually would put my control down. I was like, okay, I guess I'm dying now. There's nothing that's going to happen. You'll see me doing to others as well in the gameplay if you stick around to watch some of the gameplay. But basically, what my overall opinion of this mode is from the beta, of course, in the final game it can change, but from the beta is that it's pretty forgettable mode. Just like I think every single multiplayer mode component of any Resident Evil was. I think the only ones that really were standouts are the co-ops of Resident Evil 5 and Revelations. And many would say Outbreak, and I did enjoy Outbreak. I think Outbreak was way ahead of its time when it came out, and I think that's one of the reasons why it actually didn't succeed, is because people weren't ready for that kind of game. A lot of people didn't have internet at that time, but that's besides the point. I think this game needed a unique angle on multiplayer that nobody else has, and it just didn't do it. Like Resistance, to me, had a unique idea. It's just the execution was a little bit poor, but I think it had it was heading in the right direction. And what I would do personally is I would have 4 people fight 12 zombies, so it would be a 16-player game. And it wouldn't just be a deathmatch between each other. It would be something story or objective related, almost like Among Us, where you're forced to complete tasks, and the people would be obviously very overpowered versus the zombies, but they would have no respawns. Versus the zombies would have respawns, and they would have to corner people, put them in sticky situations, or stalk them, or whatever it might be. And I think that's where the game would have won, with this kind of unique angle and a different approach to multiplayer, whereas this game doesn't really do it. There you go, guys. That's basically my opinion of the beta so far. I'll try to play it a little bit more to get even a stronger understanding of what is it going to be like. And I mean, that's basically it. What do you guys think? Those of you who played the beta, what do you think of it? Did you enjoy it? From the gameplay, guys, that I've been showing you, and of course I'll show you after this, I'll keep going. I'll show you one full match, what it looked like, and of course I'm going to pick my best match. I don't want to show you where I was getting just slaughtered by this one guy. But yeah, let me know what you're thinking of it. Are you going to be excited to try this out? Are you going to be picking up Resident Evil 8 Village? If you do enjoy this kind of content, guys, make sure you subscribe down below, because I'm going to be covering Resident Evil Village a lot more, and of course I'll cover this game as well. I'm an RE fan. I mean, plain and simple. I'm going to be playing this game. I never got to try out Umbrella Corps, but I do want to try this multiplayer version out. Guys, enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy playing some Resident Evil. Actually, I reinstalled Resident Evil 2 and 3. I'm going to be playing those today. Guys, peace out. Take care.